Today's video is all about what happened after Max was diagnosed with ASD and the support that we received. Can you list all the support that we got? I mean, I know there was a lot.
None.
None. Nothing. Zilch. Zero.
No counselling, no sort of like therapy work. Just nothing, just there you go, got your diagnosis. Bye.
Yeah. I don't know what support, I mean, what would you have liked to have had? Would there have been anything that you would have wanted looking back?
Well, maybe at the, a bare minimum, like, here's a booklet on autism. These are some of the things that you might encounter. Here's some of the things that you might be able to do to counteract these things. Instead of just kind of learning as we go, But
I mean, to be honest, I think so in a nutshell, nothing. There was no support. We get invited once per year to see the paediatrician. And as you can imagine, because it's once per year, so much changes, and I keep a log of what has changed, what's improved, what hasn't improved, new things that have happened, and you end up just having like verbal diarrhea on the paediatrician, who is then completely overwhelmed with, you're firing so much stuff at him, he kind of just thinks, oh my goodness, and then it's filtering out then what is important and what's not important, but what he can help with and what he can't. So it's, I don't know, and I think with autism, the reason it's called a spectrum is because it have you ever met two autistic kids that are the same?
No.
Never. No. And Jake works with students at work who have, a lot of your students do have autism or ASD. So, yeah. So we have been kind of left. And when I say Jake works with autistic children, it's not like he did that before Max was diagnosed. This is only in the last year you've had that role.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that he knows what Max is like, that's what helped him get the role. So, it's been tough, hasn't it? It's been
rather tough.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's really similar to when you get married. So you get married, but nothing really changes. Of course, there are things, there's legal things that change. Your name kind of changes and, those sort of things. But as a person, you are still the same people after you get married. So you like the same things. You still, have the same friends and all of that stuff.
Have the same problems as well.
And have the same problems, yeah. So for those of you who are about to get married and you think, oh, he'll change once we're married, they really don't. They really don't. Have I changed?
No.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So it's similar when you are diagnosed with anything. I guess it doesn't have to be ASD. If you get a diagnosis of a difficulty, when you get diagnosed with ASD, nothing changes. You're still the same person. You still like the same things. You still dislike the same things. Well, that could change, I guess, if you do have ASD, because every day's different. But that's it. He's still Max. It's not like he's now got this flag above his head saying, hello, I have autism. So that's kind of it. We did, in the early days, because Max did have these real issues with his speech, and he had real issues. We could not get him to sleep at night.
No, that was awful.
It was
Absolutely
horrible.
awful.
Absolutely horrible. We couldn't get him to sleep. Eating, you know, we were so concerned that he would only eat these set meals every day. So we did keep calling them and ask to see someone, to see what we needed help with these things. And we did see a specialist. She was really good. She was really lovely. She understood. And she helped us. She gave us some really, really good ideas on bedtime routines, which we were pretty much already doing. So, you know, she said we was doing really well with those. But she did give us some really, really good ideas about how to try to engage Max with new foods. And I do think that's helped. It's definitely a step forward. Like, he will now smell things, you know, and he'll look at things and he'll be interested. And like we have done a previous video on Max's food.
Also, I think, like, sounds bad, but like bribery as well, like to try new stuff has worked well. It's not the best way, but it has led him to, like, for instance, I got him to try that new juice where we can go out, and now he'll drink Volvic lemon and lime water. Yeah,
and that was actually in our first video. So we have covered some of these bits before, so do look back at our other videos. We kind of have given snippets about Max along the way so far. So yeah, so we saw the specialist, and she gave us this, and then because things were not improving, we were trying everything we could think of with Max's sleep. We were eventually prescribed melatonin for him, and that has worked really well for Max, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, because I think for Max, it was getting him to fall asleep. His brain was he's so ready for life, isn't he? He just wants to
do everything.
He wants to do everything all the time. So that really helped. There were times, do you remember we used to get up in the middle of the night, and directly opposite our bedroom door there are stairs that go up to our 3rd floor, and the amount of times either Jake or myself have got up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night and opened the door, and we've woken the other one up by shrieking where we've just found this person sat on the stairs in front of us.
Usually with his iPad or something.
Oh, when I've seen him sat there just staring at our door, and it's you know, when you're talking 2 o'clock in the morning, it's really freaky, and we have no idea. This was back when he really couldn't communicate very well as well. I had no idea how long he'd been there. It was scary. You know, thankfully, I mean, we started locking the front door, but he never ventured out. I'm so thankful, because I am sure there are children that would just go for a wander. But honestly, it was a really horrible time, because you just didn't know whether he would wake up or, you know, all the
times when he used to come in our room in the middle of the night and just look over us.
Yeah, he used to, oh my goodness, I remember that. He used to just come and stare. And just stare.
And wake up
and it's like in your face. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's fun. So the melatonin has saved us from these really scary Halloween moments. It does help. It's not perfect. But it definitely is a huge improvement. So we are currently in talks about, because he's on the liquid at the moment, and we are in talks whether we want to change him onto the tablets, because he is getting that little bit older. I think we're in a bit of a grey area, because I think Max knows he's getting a bit older as well. And he, you know, he likes being a big boy, doesn't he?
So he actually thought it was a good idea.
Yeah,
to
when we
try
spoke,
it.
he was there. He was part of this discussion, which I really like about our paediatrician. He does include Max. He was trying to show him what the tablets looks like and how big they were, and it was helpful. But I don't know if he would swallow a tablet every day. So it's just we're gonna order some and keep him on the liquid, but we're gonna order some and try them, and we'll let you know how that goes. Yeah. So our real big issues we did ask for extra help with. It doesn't get offered to you. You do have to go and find it, sadly. So it was eating, and we had the specialist help with that. We've got a whole video which I will link in our description about food, because it's a real struggle still now, isn't it, to try and get Max to eat anything new. So have a look at that, and we will keep you posted when we do have these. I think we will be screaming from the rooftops if we successfully get him to eat something new. Sleeping, that's now much better. Over the summer holidays it was completely out of whack, but I think that's because we were a lot less regimented as well with it.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the other thing is speech and language, because his speech, that was what first led us down the autism path. I have put another video. All of our videos are on this, but there was the very first one about Max and about the diagnosis. It's a bit of a tearjerker. I get very upset, but I will link it below, and it does explain how Max's speech delay led us down this path. His speech is still not where it should be, but it's amazing.
So much better than what it was.
And he's so funny. He honestly
Absolutely
makes
hilarious.
me laugh every single day, like belly laugh every single day. I don't think he means to make me laugh.
Well, he said to me, he keeps asking me, "Am I funny, Daddy?"
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I think he's
yeah.
like realising how
because
funny
he makes people laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is. He's such a happy boy, isn't he? He just, as long as things are
to his liking.
Yeah. Which makes him sound a bit spoiled, but it's
just not.
No,
it's
it's
not
autism.
spoiled things. It's not like has to have, I don't know, the latest stuff like most kids kind of shout out about. It's just, I don't know, he's set dinner or having stuff at a certain time, because otherwise.
Well, I mean, put it this way: if we gave Max the option of, I don't know, chili con carne with rice, or I don't know, chips from a chip shop, and we said, no, you're not having the chili con carne with rice, you're going to have chips from the chip shop, most children, not chicken nuggets, most children would be like, okay, winning. Max would freak out so bad, our neighbours would think we were murdering him. So yeah, it really isn't being spoilt.
No.
It's just his thing.
His thing. Monday is Mexican food, and chili con carne is Mexican food, and if he doesn't have that, and it doesn't sit well with him.
Throws him out. Yeah. When we got back during the summer holidays, we went away for a couple of days, and we got back on a Wednesday. No, we didn't. We got back on the Tuesday, and he had his Wednesday dinner on the Tuesday because we didn't have the Tuesday thing in after we'd been away, and he was quite happy to have that. But the next day, it threw him completely because we said, "Oh, it's fish fingers and beans day," but I had that yesterday, and yeah, he love him. So that brings us kind of up to now. This has been how we've lived for a few years now, hasn't it?
Pretty much.
We ask for help when we need it. And they are quite good. They would get us an appointment if we ask for one. Sometimes it does take a while. We have once before had a cancellation, which was really helpful. But I think otherwise you're waiting a couple of months because they're so in demand. Just to touch back on speech and language therapy, Max, when he was still in mainstream school, he did have a speech and language therapist who would come into the school and do a couple of hours a week with him. And that worked really well. The school was saying it was really positive. Max was reacting really positively to it. But then she left and they could not find another one. Apparently there is a massive shortage of speech and language therapists. So if anybody's looking for a career, go into speech and language therapy, because you are pretty much guaranteed a job. There are so many people that need it and there are not enough. But I guess that's quite common now, isn't it, in medical staff? So, yeah.
Everything's in need.
So now, how would you describe life now?
It's on the good side, I think.
Oh yeah, it's definitely on the good side. I would kind of describe it as one step forward, half a step back.
Yeah, making slow gains, but good gains.
Yeah, like every time we make a step forward. So, for example, Max will use really big words in context, in the right order, or he will try something new, which you know that's the golden buzzer moment, isn't it? Or he will. I mean, he did something amazing yesterday, and we went out, and a little boy lost his helium balloon, and someone helped Max get it down, and he gave it straight back to this little boy. Oh, it just melts my heart. He's so kind. Everything that improves with Max, you know, if he has a whole week of going to sleep straight away and waking up at the right time and everything being perfect, it's fantastic. And then all of a sudden, something will just swoop in and knock us for six completely. It could be just absolutely anything. This time of year is wonderful for flies when it's warm, and Max has decided that he is petrified of flies. And I don't just mean like flies, blue bottles, wasps, bees. He doesn't mind bees actually.
No, because he knows they're good for the planet.
I'm talking the tiny midges that you can't even see. Oh, he can see them. We've had to hunt around the whole house for something we can't even see before. Oh, yeah. So, you know, something like that will happen. Or, I don't know, we'll go... we'll be having a lovely meal out, which is a massive success, because going out for dinner and taking Max is a challenge, and it'll be going really well, and he'll need the toilet. Then we'll go to the toilet and someone will put the hand dryer on.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. He is done. He cannot stand them. Yeah. We actually had an incident once. Do you remember at Centre Parks? We went to Centre Parks a few years ago, and we had a little cabin. It was wonderful. Max loved it, didn't he? Because there was so much to do, so much to see, wildlife, everything. It was great. Apart from, in our bathroom, there was the extractor fan, and he hated it.
It wasn't noisy at all.
It was just a whir, wasn't it? It wasn't even like it wasn't like hand dryer level. We're talking a tiny whir.
Yeah, background level.
We didn't even notice. You know, that's how perceptive he is. He didn't use the toilet or have a bath or a shower for the first 3 days of our trip. We had to take him from our cabin all the way to the main complex every time he needed the toilet. It was a nightmare. Then Jake, said, we must be able to turn it off. Went on a little hunt and found the switch to actually turn it off in the cabin. Oh, that was a relief, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But every time he went in after that, he was still looking
was
around.
checking
And he would make sure. Yeah. So and it's really funny things, isn't it? Like, we recently went into it was actually in one of our other videos. We went to a indoor playground. Now, you walk into an indoor playground and there are just colours and balls and exciting kid-friendly things everywhere, you know, attractive things for children, big slides and balls and all the rest of it. You know, and even I get excited walking in there, you know, it's just heaven, isn't it? You soft play. Max walks in and said, they need to change the light bulb. We were somewhere else before. I can't remember where it was now, but we walked in and Max said, why is the light broken? And there was a wire just hanging a tiny bit out of the ceiling. Can you remember that one?
I can't remember where that was.
I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere where the ceiling would be completely irrelevant compared to how much fun he would have been having in the place that we were in. But, you know, and that is, I think, the epitome of autism. It's things that we, as typical people, well, not you, not me either, typical people, if those that pretend they're out there somewhere, just wouldn't pick up. It would just go into the filter that, you know, your brain tells you that that's just there for a reason, and you wouldn't even process it. It just wouldn't matter to you. And they are picked up by Max and, well, by, I guess, a lot of people on the spectrum, and they are big deals. For something that we wouldn't even consider, they are a big deal because it's not how it should be to them. So, yeah, I think that's probably a really good way of describing the difference in how things are perceived between, you know, me and Max. You're kind of somewhere over towards Max as well with that, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not going to make it the Jake show. I think we probably should do another video about you, though. We've mentioned before, Jake is on the waiting list to see if he's also on the spectrum. Do you want to say anything about that? You don't have
to. I don't know, really.
You don't have to.
No. I guess it's just more like, I don't know, there's a lot of Max inside me, well, obviously because he's my son, but the stuff that he does is reflected in myself as well. Not so extreme as him, but it's definitely there. It definitely kind of, I guess, makes sense with a lot of stuff that's been going on in my life as well, and the way that I think. Yeah, it's definitely.
It's those particular things. There was something that happened was it last night? And I said, well, I wouldn't have noticed that. Why did you? And it was just, I can't remember what it was now, but there was something. There was something, and it was just, it was a perfect, you know, example of why Jake is being tested, because...
Yeah, there's a big long list, isn't there?
There's a big long list
of stuff that I could say of why.
Yeah, but I think another video, we'll do that, I think, and, you know, because that then may help. This obviously is aimed at raising awareness of Max, who is a child and was diagnosed at 5. And I think it would be really awesome if we could do and raise awareness of people who think they might be on the spectrum as adults. Yeah, and if it turns out that, you know, the assessment says that, you know, they do think you are. I mean, the GP has already said that he thinks you are.
Yeah.
But obviously you need to go through the formal process. And then hopefully we can help even more people. So, yeah. So If you don't already, please make sure you do subscribe to our channel. There is so much more content to come. Every Wednesday is our official Autism Day. It's all about Max and our journey with autism so far, different things that we've learned and we've picked up and we've been taught and all the rest of it. So look out for those. And Fridays and Sundays are more fun videos. Friday is definitely our days out, how Max reacts to them, that kind of thing. And then Sundays, we're starting a new series. So look out for that soon, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.